Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled The Wacky Woo with JSNIP4. You can find his work, of course, at JSNIP4 here on YouTube, and you can support him on Patreon at patreon.com/JSNIP4. Let's give him a big warm welcome. Joe, welcome back, man.
Sexual chocolate.
How's it going, dude?
Good, doing good.
Man, I was like scrambling to find things to talk about today. There's like nothing going on.
This might be a 10 or 15 minute show.
Yeah, like we're done. Hi, folks. Good night. That's it. That's all, folks. That's all she wrote. Oh, my God. Well, first, let's talk about what's on the screen, man. It is the wacky woo. And the more we go in this weird timeline here, the more wacky the woo is becoming. Like you and I have to agree. But what was funny about this poster, I absolutely love this poster. Thank you so much for being a good sport and using that picture, too. We had so much fun with it. But today, for some reason, there's this guy, Cliff, on Twitter. Anyways, he's making waves with something about your eyes. And everybody's freaking out about your eyes. So, damn you, Cliff, I stab at thee. Anyways, I'm doing con. Anyways, so hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this live interactive show. Of course, we're going to have fun as usual. Joe and I are just shooting the shit, having fun, talking about some woo and maybe some crypto, silver, gold, things like that in there. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Joe, where do you want to start, man? How's your week been? Let's start there.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy over here, actually, just getting, kind of not scrambling, but just like, oh, let me make sure I got that. I found these 14-gallon fuel tanks. I guess you could use diesel or gas, but they're all gravity fed. It has like a little pump handle, even though it's gravity fed. And there's bigger ones, but I'm like, well, how much is 14? It's like 100 pounds worth of fuel. So I'm like, I don't want to carry 28 pounds worth of fuel like off the back of a truck. Right. 200 pounds. So I'm like, yeah, let me get 2 of the 14 pounders just in case I'd have to pick it off my truck. But I bought them on Amazon, holds 14 gallons each, so you don't have to carry all these little 5-gallon things with you, to the gas station if you need fuel for a generator or whatever.
Right.
Not to mention for me, I'd have to stop the generator, unhook it, drag it down to the gas station to fill it, potentially.
Or you could drive the generator to the gas station and fill it there.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. But I'd have to disconnect it from the house. The house would shut down for 30 minutes or whatever. But yeah, I could certainly do that. But I thought, well, if I have these, I could just go get 28 gallons worth times 2. And since it's in the back of the truck, I'd easily fill up the generator with this thing because it's gravity fed. And that way I could just leave the thing running here at the house and just go get 28 gallons worth of fuel or whatever. But I thought about, not to mention if I ever go on a long trip, I could just put it in the back of that truck and use it diesel in my truck too. Have a spare 14 or 28 gallons worth of
so what's
fuel,
basically. What's the strength of this baby?
That one is 33 kilowatts.
Oh shit! Okay, wow.
They had a 2 or 3 20s, and I think those were single axles, and they look very similar to that. And then they had that 133, I think, and then they had, I think, a 55 and a 60. And I paid $13,000 for that thing, but even the 55 and 60 were like, 13.5 or something. Wasn't that much more.
Sorry, is this brand new or no? This is
this is a 2007.
Okay.
That cell phone tower companies would use, like when the power would go out and they wanted to keep signal up, they'd run it on a tower, or if they needed to keep the tower powered up while they worked on it for some reason, and disconnect the main power. But this thing had freaking 38 hours on the motor and only like 7 or 8 hours on the generator use. I'm like you gotta be kidding me. So that thing fired right up, ran great. I'm like, well, the battery's a little old. I'll go get a new battery. So I went and grabbed a nice AGM battery. It has a damn solar panel on the top of it to keep the thing, as long as it's out there, it'll just stay charged. You don't have to worry about the battery dying on you after 6 months or something.
Right.
So I'm happy to get that. But I had to get it. I found these connectors.
Is this government surplus, or where did you get this?
It wasn't government. It was just like, one of these tower companies that serviced, AT&T or Verizon or something. I guess just after a period of time, they're like, even though it works fine, it's just, that thing's 2007. They're like, it's time to get rid of the thing.
Right.
So this guy has a place down in Miami where a big piece of property with all kinds of refrigerated truck trailers and just all kinds of equipment and stuff. And he just has a deal with those people where he gets it from them and resells them. So I was happy to go get it and get back, but I had to get this 100, like they don't make a 100 amp generator connector. There's no such thing. The highest you can go is 50. And then they had a couple other connectors I saw that were 60. Okay. But I'm like, I need 100 amp for this thing. So they make some online. It's called a pin and sleeve connector. And I was able to find some on Amazon, actually. and I just got those ordered. I think maybe Friday or Thursday or something. So they should be in any day now.
Okay.
Well, I can just quickly disconnect rather than have to manually wire it like I did.
Yeah. That's a little bit annoying there, but at least it works. You have a backup that works.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if it's raining, not in the middle of a hurricane, but even just it started raining and I got to plug the thing in. I don't want to be out. I'm not, even though I'd shut the power off. I don't want to be messing with shit like that.
Is your breaker next to the house or is it inside the garage? I don't remember where you're.
It's right next to the house in the pool area.
Okay.
The main panel's right there, and then it feeds another panel, I guess a sub panel for the house.
Yeah.
That's like 100 amp panel for the house or something. But
okay.
Like I said, I tested it. I ran everything except for the pool heater, and I was nowhere close to 100 amps.
Wow. Okay.
Like 42 on one leg and like 30 something on the other leg, and I'm like, wow, I'll take that, man.
So I've been fielding quotes to get a generator for the house here as well. So I already have 2 generators, one medium one small one. So it depends on how long I expect to be out of power.
Right.
And stuff. I've had that since like the ice storm back in 2001.
Are you looking at like a propane thing?
Well, that's the thing. Cliff, who's on the screen now, was telling me, no, go diesel. And everybody around here, they don't sell diesel. Apparently, it's not a la mode around here at all. And the ones they have are like really expensive. So everybody that quoted me is like, dude, Jean-Claude, we can give you a diesel one if you want, but you're 6 to 8 months out to order them. I'm like, wow, 6 to 8 months. Like that, guys, that's you don't understand. You haven't watched any Cliff High videos. That's
So where have you guys been, man?
Gonna work. So I'm like, okay, propane, then it is, and I'm already set up on propane here at the house too. Like, does
it feed automatically, or do you have to get your tanks filled?
No, it feeds automatically. They'd set it up here automatically, and everything's automatic. As soon as the power goes off, it clicks a switch, it turns on, it has everything like ready to go. Okay. So anyways, I have a few quotes now to that, and now I'm trying to basically have them bid against each other to who's going to do it first. And they're all kind of laughing. I'm like, you're like, you don't understand. Like, we're fucking swamped. Like, we're like, I'm like, well, can I pay you a little bit more? Can I grease somebody's hand or pocket? Like, so anyways, I'm trying to get that one done. But again, I'm not stuck. I have backups already, and I have solar like you. Like, it's annoying that I have to go out and, set it up when we have power issues and all that. But let's start here. We kind of started the show without explaining why we're talking to you about this. Let's backtrack a little bit, Joe. In your understanding of some of the older WebBot data reports, talk about these power outages and then bring that into context to what's happening now, the cyber warfare programming we've had in the last couple of months here, and also now what potentially is coming just around the corner. So let's set the stage for the audience here a little bit.
All right. I want to just say something first, that because Cliff High was just tweeted this, and I was going to talk about this on JC's show, actually. So just real quick. So Justin Trudeau, we're snap elections. And Cliff's like, so why do you suppose he's going to hold snap elections now? It's not because in 2 years from now, they may not have the power of the voting machine that they do now, that they're hoping will automatically find, Trudeau wins, Yeah. And I'm like, exactly. I said, that is exactly what I said. That is exactly why that little bastard's doing it.
Well, they called the election this Sunday.
Stupid video
today
about his she session, and he said something about, I think he meant secession, and he's like, she session, and then she something. And everyone's like, you moron. You're such a dumbass. And that guy is such a dumbass.
Well, the polls are right now not favorable to him. It came out the other day that they're behind. And of course, he's already in the minority government. He got slapped down from his majority in the last election. So he was being propped up by the NDP party. Now, what's interesting in the last couple of months is our mainstream media. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but of course, I love talking.
Might as well get into it real quick. Yeah.
Might as well get into it, right? We'll just watch some of the American stuff so we don't get into trouble here. But at any rate, in the last couple of months, what's been funny is that Maxime Bernier's party has not been in the news. The media just won't touch him. It's like he doesn't exist, right? So he's this basically Mr. T type of narrative candidate. He's got his own party, and the media just like, no, he doesn't exist, right? So now when they called the election on Sunday, it was like, okay, here are the 2 debates, here are the dates for the debates later on in September, and here are the candidates for the debates. Again, no mention of Maxime Bernier. So I'm like, come on, guys. It's like, remember when Ross Perot was running? It's like he didn't even exist. Like he was always like behind the school bus somewhere, you couldn't find him. So anyways, they're doing that now to Maxime Bernier. I'm like, isn't that interesting? But what's going to happen? And maybe I'm wrong here, but just because these polls came out now that show that actually Trudeau's behind it right now, the media might start giving room to Maxime Bernier because he would eat away from the conservative right wing, from the other guy now who presumably could beat Trudeau, so that by splitting that vote, they would get Maxime in. But they're going to come on stage, oh, well, we need free speech and we're a fair and equal network, so we're going to let Maxime speak. And we're like, you guys didn't do anything for him in the last couple of months, and now you're doing it because it's self-serving to you and whoever the CCP was behind them. But at any rate, I'm like, this is going to be a fascinating election. But man, election day is September 20th. And I'm like, what if that whole pillow thingy, without getting into too much of that, and some of the
comes out sooner? And it's supposed to start next week. The initial findings.
What's the media going to say here? Excuse me, we use the same machines, so do we start over? do we just call it quits? Like, what are we going to do? Because they can't just say, oh, well, ours are fine. Like, no, somebody's going to want proof. Like, everybody's going to say, well, hold on a second here. So it could be really fascinating. And of course, we saw this, again, like this quick rush to this election. And a lot of the writing associations, or what you guys call electoral districts, they're in shambles. They're like, they weren't ready. There's like a candidate nomination kerfuffles in some case. Like, it's a big shit show. Like, oh, wow. So anyways, yeah, it's going to be wild here as well. So any predictions? Do you think Trudeau's going to get it?
Well, here's where this is interesting. So, George Papadopoulos, everyone knows. Man, why am I all skippy looking on your screen? Maybe it's because I'm looking at you.
Oh, you look good.
There I go. Okay, that's weird. Let me. I need to plug back my laptop. Every now and then it gets down to like it's fully charged.
Okay.
But it has like a little sliver saying it's not. So it's like it's 90% charged, but really it's fully. So I have to like let it drain a little bit, then I plug it in and it goes back up.
All right.
So anyway,
it's like you don't make enough money to buy yourself a new laptop. Come on, man.
That's not the laptop. Well, I guess it is a laptop technically. But this thing works great for so long. I'm like, I don't want to,
See, all those trolls out there are gonna say, see, he sold his state at the wrong time. Now he's running a shitty fucking laptop. Laptop. Poor Joe.
Yeah, in all fairness, I did buy a newer one recently. It's more powerful than this, more powerful than the other one I used to have, which was new. And I gave that one to my daughter because Ian, we had these little trackballs we like to use on all of our computers, including this one. And it was sitting on the keyboard section of Ashley's laptop downstairs. So Ian grabs the lid and was like trying to pull himself up or something. And when he pulled the lid down, the trackball was like sticking up and it just crushed and cracked the whole screen. So me and her had the same exact laptop at the time. I go, well, I'll give you mine. I'll just get a new one for myself. So, in all fairness, I did buy a new one, but I'm not using it here. So using this old one.
Sure.
So, all right. So George Papadopoulos.
Yes.
He was on the Trump admin. The FBI set him up. He lied to an FBI agent. We're going to charge him, So he's a good guy. He's exposed them. He tweeted the other day about the Newsom recall. And he said he's not going to get reelected. He also said, this big great reset we keep hearing about, we're not going to let it happen. So like he's saying these things just matter-of-factly, and I, when someone like that talks, I listen. So if he's so sure Newsom's not going to get reelected, and Newsom and the whole party that runs freaking California, Democratic Party, decided we're going to do mail-in votes only. That's how we're going to run this recall. And everyone's like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Because you're going to run mail-ins through these machines, and all of a sudden, a crap ton of extra ballots might be found, whatever. So we know how that might go. So everyone's like, well, he's going to get back in. But then George Pop goes, no, he's not. He's not going to do it. So then Penny Kelly, which I had her on, she said, no, I'm not seeing him coming in either.
Mm-hmm.
So my maybe scenario here would be, now I realize this is the United States, but at the same time, the whole world matters. And a certain level of the alphabet told us this is bigger than just another 4-year election in America, worldwide.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I might say, old Justin might be packing his bags, because I think what we saw with the last election, again, supposed to happen. Now that we see how everything went, it's starting to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to happen. They had to expose certain things. We're now seeing them. Oh my God, this is how they did it. Blah 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 blah. But if he's so confident, because my first thing would be, well, dude, how are you gonna say that guy's not gonna win when they have this access to the same voting machines that were just used, blah 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 blah. So how did Trump get in 2016? I'll ask everybody, because those same criminals ran the same shit.
Right.
So how the hell did Trump get in? Because somebody did something somewhere to get him in. Let's just say that. That's my opinion. So if somebody did something,
or the vote was so overwhelming, they weren't ready with the fake things, like they were.
That's possible, but I the things that I read on those boards, I think, kind of alluded to. What if we told you the military asked him to run, and assured him certain things, is what they said. So I think, just to assure it. So
yeah,
if they have that kind of reassurance, then they can have that kind of reassurance now, is what I'm saying. So if they have the reassurance now, job is done. Job is done, Mr. Service Manager. From 2020 election, we're dealing with that aftermath now. Okay, so that's out of the way, but it's in our eyes. We get to see what happened there now.
All right.
And back to the good guys saying, no, Mr. Gavin Newsom, sorry, you're not coming in. We got this. You can try to do all the millions you want. Sorry, it's not happening. Right. So they could therefore do the same thing to Trudeau and everybody else. In my opinion, my question would be for myself or whoever else, are we going to step across that border, so to speak? Not that we have to do it, because again, satellites and all kinds of shit,
Right.
So maybe we'll start to see, oh, he didn't make it. Oh, he didn't make it. Oh, he didn't. I mean, they just got rid of Cuomo.
Yeah, I know.
And they had Biden come out and say, yeah, you need to step down.
Yeah.
You had pedophile one telling sexist, whatever you want to call him, rapist, alleged rapist.
Right, alleged. Yeah.
Some pedo too, if you will.
Yeah.
To step down. The pot calling the kettle black. Yeah. But he did. And I'm saying these guys are all on the same team. This is Democrat. They've got the House. They've got the Senate. They got everything. And he just told one of his guys to step down.
But that was something else. Going back to the Webbot reports here, and we have to go back to the hydro thing at one point. But there was also this idea that the Democratic Party would implode and they would start infighting.
Yes,
that very much looks like a temporal marker hitting us in the face, especially with Cuomo here. Like that was like a wow.
Yeah, and with Afghanistan, there's Democrats right now going, look. Biden did in Afghanistan, like, holy crap, like, even those guys and CNN, it was most of what they say about the. They looked friendly or something, like they were doing something terrible. But they looked friendly.
I mean, this again, it's too funny because
mostly peaceful protests. They're burning the city down. Yeah, but those two right there aren't doing anything. It's mostly peaceful.
They're mostly peaceful. Yeah, I know. Cliff was just saying the other day how in the Wu d'Etat video, he was talking about how, the state would just basically leave without the head and say, fuck it, we're not listening to you anymore. You're not making any sense. And when CNN says stuff like that, like even the normies can go like, dude, come on, man. Like, it's so obvious you're lying to us. It's incredible. Okay, let's go back. Let me finish on Trudeau for just a second here. I did this video. This was this Monday with Janine, episode 17. And won't get into the thing here, the second part in black, but this was kind of a revisit of that famous debate you and I had with those other people on the show a couple of months ago. And I'm thinking we might have to do a part 2 to that show at some point here in the near future because things are coming up. So anyways, the invitation to y'all is going to be open. Yeah. I'm just not sure we're going to be able to host it on YouTube. So folks, if you're watching now and you know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. We might have some fireworks for you. But at any rate, we were looking at Trudeau in the last 3 or 4 episodes with Janine. And every time she pulls, she's like, he's not going to be there in the next election, or not going to be the outcome or the winner of the outcome of that election.
Trudeau?
Yeah. And she was saying that when he was high in the polls. And now we're seeing weird numbers in the polls. And again, they're just polls. They're all
right. We don't believe them anyway.
Blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, those same polls who keep telling us, well, the majority of Canadians agree with the policies of this and that and all that. And I'm like, which majority? Like everybody I talk to doesn't agree. What are you guys talking about? So, but here at the same time, when I go to the coffee shops, everybody has it up to here with the guy that's there now. So again, we'll see. It depends on these machines and if this comes out and maybe other things. I was thinking too, you talked about Afghanistan. I was like, well, is that in some way, and again, you never let a good crisis go to waste, as they say.
Right.
Is Afghanistan, like, there's many layers there, maybe top layers. There's China's involvement in trying to get to those minerals and maybe being the new boss over there. I get that. But is it also a way to maybe turn the table or upend the conversation on what's about to hit here in the United States? So it's like, oh, you can't talk about that. Look, we're in a state of war now, and we have to spend all of this money on all these things, and rah, 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 patriots.
Right. We said this was going to happen. Not necessarily war, but we said get ready for a big event.
Yeah.
That will take your eyes off of the T-Man and that whole audit thing.
Yeah.
And go, oh, what's this? And it hasn't started quite yet. Like, this is a pretty big news. But again, what Penny had said, and my own feelings too, is that we might be setting our troops up in numerous ways for the blue helmets to be called upon to come into the United States. We need help. So our local troops might be, how do I say, sick, unhealthy for some reason. And the ones it's the ones over there that he's sending over there, which I just read something today that said that a lot of the contractors have been surrounded. There's no way out for them. So they might be, lambs being led to a slaughter. And then I had a dream a while back about a Navy. I felt like I was on a Navy ship that was getting attacked by jets and things. And I felt like it was a U.S. ship to me. So I'm like, imagine the U.S. ship is sunk. Oh my God, we just got defeated to the small troops that were there. They got it. Oh my God, we got a problem in America. We got to call the blue helmets in. And Woo Dude was reminded recently about a major vision he had like over 2 years ago with Julianne, and the blue helmets were here. And it was, he goes, they were coming under the guise of help, but Spirit showed me, don't, that's not why they're here.
Right.
So he goes, it was kind of scary. He goes, but I forgot about it. Like they showed me once and that was it. He goes, but then recently they came to me. Spirit goes, don't forget about the blue helmets, what we told you. So he goes, oh yeah. So he called Julianne and was like, do you remember that? She goes, yeah, I remember that. Definitely remember that one. So he's like, well, they just reminded me, don't forget about it. So we must be getting, close.
Well, in this interview, we were talking just about that had the previous woman won instead of Mr. T, we would already be probably balkanized.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
The UN would have been in and all that. So he delayed those plans by quite a bit. But it's very potential now that a lot of these agencies who are trying to provoke people to get to the streets right now are doing so again in an attempt to cause enough chaos to say, oh my God, we need the UN to come and help us quell all of this rebellion here. So again, good advice, guys. Don't get mixed up in all of that. We can.
Right, and that whole Gretchen Whitmer, all that these patsies tried to go and kidnap her and all this nonsense. Well, the FBI lead guy in charge was caught recently. They're swingers, I guess, and they went to a swingers party. And when they got home, he damn near killed his wife, choked her to death, almost beat her. So I thought to myself, I guess the other guy was.
Wait, is that a new one or like last month? I saw that.
No, it was probably.
Okay. Yeah,
but it was just they're regurgitating it. But that's the guy who was in charge of the operation against the supposed militia people that wanted to go, grab Whitmer and kidnap her, governor. Right. So the lawyers representing them is requesting certain text messages from the FBI to their informant, who's the one that really set everything up. Again, it's literally the FBI did everything, set everything up, and then just got those guys to go in the car with them, got them. Like something like that is what we're going to find. So the FBI has refused to provide the evidence requested, again, because it could be exculpatory as far as he's concerned, and they won't give it up. They're not giving it up. So the judge may say, listen, see a case dismissed. You were not given the evidence.
Isn't that what they did with the Bundy case there? Clive, was it Clive?
I think there was something with evidence.
They were doing the same thing, withholding exculpatory evidence, and they got caught like a year later, and all of this was like
right. So this is what the FBI does to everybody.
Their MO. Yeah.
That's their MO. We go after these guys, we infiltrate, and then we, get them to say some little stupid phrase or something while we set everything up. I mean, at what point is the FBI breaking the law? If I tried to get you to, harm some senator here, let's say, and you said, "Oh, F this, I'm going to call the FBI or call somebody," you know, I'd go to jail.
Yeah.
I would go to jail. So how could the FBI pretend to do something with all seriousness, not go to jail and say, well, we were undercover. It's just undercover with an informant. So it wasn't even an FBI guy. It's a fucking informant at that. Well, but he's working for us. He's good. He's
at the very least, the defense lawyers can go with entrapment. I mean, even that.
Absolutely. And that's what they are.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Anyway, so I think with, I would love to see, because it's only a month away, roughly, the your election. If that son of a gun gets canned, and this guy you're talking about, Bernier, wins, that would be all the sign. Honestly, that would be the best thing we could all imagine, because that would set the stage for how this is going to go.
Right.
He's going bye-bye. That one's going to go bye-bye. That one's going to go bye-bye. And then all of a sudden, it's somebody like Trump with his viewpoints. Oh, they're elected. Oh, they're elected. Oh, they're elected. And all these clowns go away.
Yeah. But
so that would be a.
Could you imagine, though, we would go from a situation where the Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrests Maxime Bernier for speaking at an event. I mean, this is how bad it is. And of course, he was speaking his views on the whole health situation, which is against the narrative. And of course, political speech, as far as I know, is still covered here in Canada as free speech. But anyways, he was arrested for that and then eventually released. But the point is, that's how they're treating people who are speaking their truth here, even our political leaders. And this guy is not a newcomer. He's not Johnny come lately. Yeah. Like Maxime's been around for a long time. He was in the Conservative Party before. Now he's got his own thing. But anyways, it's fascinating to see. And you're right. If he wins too, if you guys listen to the rhetoric or to the narrative or to the platform, just say platform for now, that he had in the last election, he was talking some shit about the banks. He was talking some shit about immigration. He was like saying a lot of things that people were like,
who was?
Maxime Bernier. Okay. Like he's understanding the bigger issues, because everybody said, okay, well, what are you going to do with water plant issue XYZ? Like just a wedge issue. Yeah, he says, I'm not going to deal with that. We have to deal with the big problems. Our central bank is not creating our money. And everybody's like, okay, turn the camera off. Turn the camera off.
Yeah, he just said the word. Like that. The red alert word. He just said it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, could you imagine him being our prime minister, or even being allowed to speak in these debates and actually be given a fair shake at it, because they're trying to split the vote on the conservative side? At any rate, it's going to be entertaining. But the Canadian public was not ready to hear him. They didn't understand this idea of maybe this global organization that had their hands in our affairs here in Canada and basically told us what to do, as he was saying. But now maybe they do. After this last year and a half, people might be way more receptive to, wait, what was that guy Maxime saying a couple of years ago? Let's get him on the stage here. We want to hear him. So our mainstream media is going to have some issues if they're going to try to silence him during the election, because I think Canadians are not going to have it. But again, I don't know. I say that, and Sarah and I were at a dinner this Saturday. It had been a long time since we went downtown for dinner, and we were kind of shocked. What would I say? Not surprisingly shocked, but shocked in a depressed circumstance to hear the people talking around us and their level of discord. I was just like, whoa, I thought people were more woken up than that. Like, it really struck me. We were like, what, seriously? Are these people? I thought that was a joke. No, they were serious, right? I won't say it here because it'll trigger some algos. But some of the things people were saying, and of course, this is downtown Ottawa. It's the heart of our, our parliament. So all the staffers who work in this government now are all down there. So it's like, this is their neck of the woods, and they own this town, right? So, at any rate, it was kind of shocking to hear. So I have no idea where this one is going in Canada. All I know is it's going to be wild, and I think, like you say, we might have some external events change the outcome of our election. That's my gut feeling right now as things stand, 2 days into the election here. But anyways, election day is September 20th, so it's a long time in politics. A week is a long time in politics. If you've been around politics before, you'll know. So anyways, all right. So maybe the folks don't want to talk about Canadian politics too much. So let's go back to our potatoes here. We started the show talking about these power outages. Okay, so let's go back there. Explain what was in the old WebBot data, and then tie that into some of the security, cyber threat issues we've had this year, maybe the McAfee stuff, like how all that ties in into now, especially now, maybe as an attempt to slow down, stop, curtail some of the woo overtaking the mainstream media. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, you got old webbot reports that have had power outages, blackouts, coming, and the Democratic Party falling apart, like to a point where like there's no Democratic Party anymore. So everything we see right now is about the damn Democratic Party. Not to say that the Republican Party is clean, but when compared to them, oh my God. So I think we're witnessing the self-destruction. We're watching them fight with each other, where they're telling each other to step down, and Cuomo goes away. That's unheard of. They could have rushed this whole assault allegation right under the rug because it's not the first time it came up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first time this came up for him, and it just came up again. So it's like, well, they can just do what they did again. But no, all of a sudden, it's got traction. It's going somewhere this time.
Right.
And he actually stepped down. And they're saying, well, that was because they didn't want, they figured they don't want to charge him with the nursing home, deaths or whatever. So if he goes away, everyone will just we can brush that under the rug. But again, if they can bring that back up right now, then why can't they bring the nursing home thing up right now and do the same thing? I think there's bigger reasons for him going away right now. Mm-hmm. And it's to prove they ain't in control, even though you might think they are. Mm-hmm. They're not in control anymore. There's a story playing out right now. We're watching it like a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It has a beginning, middle, and an end. And again, if your prime minister doesn't get in there, that would be one of the best signs I think we could see, because that would tell us they got control over the world now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gone. That one's gone. The prime minister from New Zealand, she'll be gone. All these tyrants, the Australian government, that maybe they'll be gone. Sooner or later. So that would be a good sign. But at the same time, if they didn't, and Trudeau wins, okay, maybe they're not dealing with y'all's government or other governments right now, and they got bigger fish to fry.
Or it was
with
just
ours,
too early. Like maybe that was the strategy of those guys here, to go as soon as they can to fly underneath that cover before it all blows up. But my guess is it's probably going to blow up before. But who knows?
I think so.
Again, this Afghanistan thing this weekend too, I don't think they were looking at that in the news to call election day on that same day, because we've been Canada's been part of the coalition there too. So it's like a huge stain, like 20 years of what for what. Like it's just, it's embarrassing to everybody. But going back to nipple rings, just had nipple rings in my mind. So yeah, you were talking about how this came in the past also, and people were saying, well, what is he wearing there? And I saw some other memes that I won't play here just in case, but at any rate, you're right, this has been around for a long time. But
he's been in power for a long time. They own the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the president saying, you should step down, Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
He's being told to say that by somebody, because that sucker is not going to say that against his people. They're going to protect each other.
Yeah.
And they're not.
No.
So that gives me great hope, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Me too. Somebody says, oh my God, JC, fall of the... I can't read that. Okay. Thank you, Spicy Name. But, somebody said... Anyways, I can't put all of your comments up, because you know what? Oh, no, I can't even say this. Something weird happened 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure if I emailed you, Joe, but I emailed Cliff, and he was like looking at this like, yeah, dude, what the F was that? Anyways, some weird censorship thing. I'll just say that. Anyways, it hasn't occurred since. So I was just wondering if that was a one-off thing. It was a test drive. Anyways, I can't talk about it. Anyways, but Joe, I'll talk to you about it after the screen, because if you notice this on your channel too, we might have to make some moves there. I don't know. We'll see. So sorry, folks. Joe and I are just shooting the shit, but we have to catch up sometimes. Okay. So going back to these power outages. Okay. So the reason we're prepping now is also not just because necessarily the bad guys might, or even the good guys might throw the power off here to create a distraction or to create a strategic advantage, and maybe in some cases to trigger the EBS. So who knows? There's all of these theories out there. But in every case, we, the people, are going to suffer. It could be a day, could be 2 days, could be 10 days. We don't know. So there's that scenario. And then there's also the further out scenario of people killing over and not replacing and not being there for these strategic jobs that are very hard to train for and take a long term to train new people in. And we might have issues with
that was Webot data too. Cliff talked about that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why Joe and I were talking about these diesel generators tonight, because we're like, okay, I had diesel, Joe had diesel, he has solar panels too, but we're like, maybe what's coming now is not the typical, okay, we have Hurricane Sandy came in or whatever it is, like ice storms here in Canada, but this could be something else. We're just like, okay, it's not catastrophizing, but just trying to be extra precautious here, because again, the woo is getting very thick, very, very thick. All right,
someone posted earlier about, they said that Cuomo was arrested. According to Real Raw News, I just have to tell you guys, I'm an expert in this kind of shit that I'm about to say. It is a big disinfo site extraordinaire. Stop listening to Real Raw News. Don't quote it. Don't send it, because you're sending fake news everywhere. There was another site that was called whatdoesitmean.com that's been around for like a decade or more now. Yeah. That did the same shit. It still continues to do the same shit. And all of a sudden, Real Raw News is out, and everybody's quoting Real Raw News the same way they used to quote whatdoesitmean.com, and it was fraud after fraud after fraud.
Right.
So you guys got to be careful of your sources. And I'm doing you a favor by telling you, just erase that site from your memory, from your computer. Don't ever visit it again, and you'll be far better off than if you did.
There's a couple of times on the show, on the live stream too, where people point us to things like that when Janine are live, and like, okay, JC, ask a question. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to bring that one up. I already know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
It could be like, in this world, everything could be. I get it. Like, this is wacky for sure. But when it comes from those sources, I try to get a little bit more confirmation before bringing it on the screen. Maybe I make mistakes too.
Because there's no confirmation anywhere except the site.
Yeah. So,
our sources said, what sources?
Yeah. The homeless man digging for trash in the trash can across the street. Okay, that's the source. Okay, thank you. Okay. Appreciate that. Okay. Well, that goes into what Cliff was saying too, like the observational dilemma at this point is something we need to pay attention to as well. Like, what are we looking at? What are we being presented, because we're being asked to react? And this was also in the context of maybe some agents provocateurs trying to incite, some activity so that we could call in the UN and other chaos and other measures here. So like Joe was saying here too, spreading that information too, you don't want to be part of that if you don't have to. You can make mistakes. We're all newbies here. We're all growing. I get that.
I've posted shit that I thought was not, and I got to go erase that. Or just take the whole video down, stop, do it over.
Yeah.
Because it just turned out to be shit.
Yeah, exactly. So pay attention, guys. Do the same thing. And if you make a mistake, then go back on your tweet and say, oh, shit, sorry, I made a mistake. But maybe now more than ever, think twice or thrice.
Yeah, because you post something and some liberal sees that and it's like, come on.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for the power generation thing. Let's get into Afghanistan a little bit more. You just mentioned, first of all, you had the video with Penny Kelly the other day. Did you guys get into Afghanistan? I haven't watched this one yet.
Yeah, we talked a bit about that. Now, here's something that I saw, I think, this morning. So they keep showing all over the news, all over the internet, this big C-117, whatever, with all these people clinged onto the side of it. It wants to take off. All these people want to get in. The number on the side of that sucker is 1190 or something like that, right? 911.
Yeah.
And we know how they love to share stuff, right? So I saw that and I go, So let's think about this. You're the elite. You know what's coming. You know about the election machines. You know what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. You need a distraction, a mother of all distractions. A school shooting is not going to do it. Boston Marathon, not going to do it. 9/11 event, maybe, like I think Penny said she saw something maybe in Chicago, possibly. The Willis Tower, or the whatever the hell they call it now, I think it's called the Willis Tower. It used to be called the Sears Tower. Yeah. And again, the CME building is right down there. The commodities is right in that area. And I thought, So that would be something where the news cycle would run for weeks and weeks and weeks and months, just like it did when 9/11 actually happened back in the day. Mm-hmm. That would take everybody off of that, whatever that is, anything. 1109.
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
Right. Of all the effing military equipment, C-117s, that's the one that shows up. That's the one, again, everybody's using it. All the media is using that, everyone's showing it.
Yeah. Well, you know, let me bring that up for the audience. There you go. I got the grab. Okay. I was watching this one and I was like,
it almost looks
seems like I could hear the director say, "Cut, start that over. You guys were from there. Like, you're in the wrong angle."
Yeah, rewind it a little bit. See the one guy kind of happy waving?
Yeah. Dude, don't say hi to your wife. No, don't look at the camera.
Yeah. You're not waving hi and happy. You're trying to get on board so it doesn't leave you behind.
Yeah, so of course I'm not saying nothing's happening in Afghanistan. I'm just saying, okay, again,
looks a little funny.
Yeah,
made for TV, possibly.
Yeah. What's happening there too that really crossed my mind though was this one. That seems to me to, it's on my radar because who knows? We had some gyrations in the markets today, but who knows the ramifications of this too. There's more connections here than possibly we know about. So I thought that was fascinating. What are your takes on this one? And perhaps just a precursor to what we're going to see here. Again, all of these psychics are calling for the same thing. The banks are not going to survive here in the States in the next couple of years.
Penny Kelly said that too last night, that she talked about mainly our dollar having some major problems here shortly.
Yeah.
Big time.
When you're in line like this and you're the central bank guy says, yeah, there's no more money. Bye-bye. I'm gone. Like, what?
Right. It's just paper. You can't print more real quick.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm fleeing too. I'm out of here.
Yeah. That's it. Sayonara, folks. You're like, well, okay. What do I do? On that note, folks, let me play a commercial for silver. I'm joking, but I'm serious. It's always a good day to buy silver, guys. So, man, think about that. Okay, so Afghanistan. Now, do you think that this is going to turn into more of a shit show? Is it going to a hot war? Are we going to say, oh, my God, we've spent all this 20 years. We have to go back now to protect our asses? Or is this a big walk away with their tails between our legs and we have to show everybody that we're impotent? What do you think is
according to Penny, it sounds, she goes, I'm getting that they're going to send more back over there. It's a setup. And they're going to get, many of them are not going to come home. It's going to be a little bit heartbreaking for us. So when she said that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then she mentioned the ones here on our soil might be getting sick from something. Again, the blue helmets have to come in, but it's going to be one hell of a shit show. And then I thought, well, damn, all we need now is a Navy ship to get sunk. I mean, geez.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And okay, something else here, too, that struck my mind. So first of all, I was watching this one. I thought it was contrived. Just me. I could be wrong, you know. Sometimes
the perfect numbers. Again, they how they operate. They give stuff in the news. Here's our symbol.
It's always coded.
So they had that exact plane there with that number on there.
Yeah.
To let them know.
And again, these dates here, they're dates of, okay, so if you go back into my feed, the Taliban were asking for full retreat now by September 11th. That was their quote. Why September 11th? Again, they're using these demonic dates on their calendar. So, of course, they're talking to us with these numbers. Anyways, but my point was, when I saw this, remember in the old Webbot data report, there was an issue of hyperinflation, value of the currency that the military were being paid, where people were scrambling to get on board commercial flights to get back home because, okay, this kind of feels like that. We had the bank in the background. There's no more money. We have the hyperinflation. It's already in the news now. So it's possible that when Cliff was looking out into time, he was looking at that as one event, but really farther out as we're looking into this temporal timeline, all of things were happening concurrently, but not necessarily because of that one event. So again, this could be one of those things where like, oh yeah, we're right there now too. It's starting to sound like that. And so these are service people rushing to get home or panicking to get home. So that nomenclature or that wording is still in here somewhere. So again, I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, wait a second. Where was my I have another screen for you. Hold on. See if I can find it. Let's go back here. Where'd you go? Dude, I lost my channel. Hold on. Something's frozen. Joe, take the wheel while I find my thing.
Another news today. We got another hurricane coming down somewhere.
What just happened? Okay, hold on. It seems to be like this never happens. This is
weird. So the Webbot talked about our troops being overseas And the thing was, if I recall, it wasn't just like, oh, it's only in one country, like where they can't get on a plane and come back home because they won't accept our dollar. It was like, if you're an American even, or a troop or whoever for America, military, and you're overseas, anybody who wants to come back home isn't going to be able to make it because they're going to stop taking the dollar. So with what Penny saw for soon, September, October, I think, time frame, if I recall, we're going to have some dollar problems big time for the Federal Reserve. And we were talking about, well, what happens? How they always kick the can with the debt ceiling. That expired July 31st.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, you guys got to give us some more money to play with, or ceiling to play with. And I said, I just got a sneaky suspicion that this is the time, again, because everything is planned and made. We're watching a show. This is the one, because how many years have we been going back now where they would always just do it? Okay, yeah, we just upped it by $1 trillion. We'll do $2 trillion this time,
Yeah.
This might be the one where it doesn't get upped. And she felt like, yeah, I think you're right.
Especially if China is not rolling over that debt anymore. And we're getting these indications now that maybe they're cutting ties with their Mr. B guy. So if that's the case, you might be right that for the first time in history, the debt ceiling is actually a hard fucking ceiling. And so what is this government going to do? I think it was
she also saw, which goes right in line with this.
Yeah.
She goes, I saw like government people not getting paid. And that made me think of what Cliff had said.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get paid, including contractors and other people, or just government, or both.
Yeah.
Going, well, hey, I know I've got information on this, and this, and I've been sitting
Secrets revealed.
And you better effing pay me.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry, there's no money. See ya. Okay, well, I guess I got to earn some money. And they either sell it or just get pissed off and go, here it is. Check this out. And then she said she goes, it was like it snowballed. So it's like one person would do a little bit, and oh my gosh, it opened up our eyes to something. And then some more of that would come. She goes, before you know it, it was kind of like a snowball of unbelievable just information of everything you can imagine just coming out. And just to where the point is like, okay, well, they can't stop it now. And just incredible information was coming out.
I think
both cool and disturbing, because people would be exposed for some horrible stuff too.
Yeah. But on that point you're just making now, I believe Cliff was talking about it in the Next Level Woo video that's on the screen here. He talked about something, I think August 21st to 25th, that would be akin to what you just said, a big secret coming out, but that would excite us, ignite our imagination, especially our children, into maybe creating this sci-fi world. So we could be very close to that date right there. I believe it was that episode, guys. Go check that one out.
Yeah, today's the 17th, right? So Woo Dude's son's getting married in a few days from now. And they've known this for months now. They've already planned this, wedding at such and such place.
Right.
And Spirit told him, your son's going to get married, but not the way he thinks. Not kind of goes as he has planned right now.
Hopefully.
But they didn't elaborate. So he told the son, well, Spirit said you're going to get married, but it's just not going to go maybe as you have planned right now. So he goes, does that mean he's not going to be able to go to the facility where this has been scheduled? Is it going to be shut down? Is there going to be something that happens to where he can't go? He goes, Spirit didn't tell me anything else other than to tell him that. And he's telling me this like probably 2 months ago. So, and it's this month. It's just a few days away from now. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if today's the 17th, in a few days it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And maybe, again, all hell's about to break loose here shortly,
Yeah, and my guy for the generator, we have to order those. Those are 6 months out. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's too late.
Give me the propane one.
Give me the propane one. We'll make it work.
You got one in the back of the shop. Go get it.
Yeah. And plus this guy too, the first thing he said is like, what do you need diesel for, man? You're going to run that like, I don't know, 12 hours a year, right? Well, those are normal circumstances. He's not thinking the way I'm thinking. No, actually, I might be running that 24/7 for a couple of weeks. Who knows?
Right.
Anyways, that's another conversation. Okay, I found that clip, and for some reason, it didn't want to play earlier, but let me scroll this one back. Let me put the sound down. Okay, hold on. All right, Remember this guy? Hold on.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that too today.
I mean, okay.
This is at the White House with Biden.
Yep.
That is the guy with the horns who was in January 6th. He was up there. That's him.
Yep. So let me just pause there. There you go. So, I mean, okay. What the hell's going on? Is this a show? They're telling us it's like this guy was part of it all along. Did Mr. B actually know that he was being used to put this clip out there for people to see? Like, what's going on here? Like, It's just hilarious.
Is that guy even walking in front of them for all we know? Is he standing in front of, walking by a green screen?
Well, that's another thing.
That's another thing. You know, It's just, and for him to look right over, hey, make sure you catch my face. Look at the guy behind him. He's not looking over.
No.
I'm going to keep walking straight. You know, this guy's like, let me just kind of show you my face and my beard and my mustache, you know, just because.
Yeah, let me give you all the angles there. You make sure it's me. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I'm kind of laughing at this one because I was like, come on, it's so surreal.
That's him. Yeah, that's him.
It looks like him. Okay, so my problem with this one here, just so you know, and I don't want to be part of maybe putting out false information, I'm relying on this clip here, which is a TikTok clip. For all I know, this person took the actual press conference event and then, again, where'd they get this guy on the green screen to slap him over this event? I don't know. Or is it the media doing this? Maybe it's not just somebody in their basement, but it's some arm of the media. Maybe the good guys here are trying to tell us something, as they've been trying to tell us all along here with all of these drops. We can get into some of those drops in a moment. So anyway.
And again, Washington, D.C., the main FBI building, headquarters, has been shut down for a while. There's nobody there but security officers. I saw a guy's YouTube video where he walks into the building, talks to the security officers, all recorded, and they're telling him nobody is here. The FBI is completely gone, you know, due to COVID. They don't come into the office at all anymore. Occasionally an IT guy comes, but that's not like FBI.
Right.
So the FBI is out of the building. Like, what the hell's going on? Who's running the country? And who's telling Joe Biden what to do? And who put that guy on the screen? You know, this is all these are all breadcrumbs being dropped by the good guys.
Yep. In this episode, folks, we talked about whether or not this was a big psyop or if this was real. So go check out this thing. But I brought the context of the interview. I'm not sure if it was with you, Joe, but at some point I had Zach Voorhees and another guy, C60 Purple Power, Ken Schwartz. And they were both of the opinion that this whole initiative with that letter over there was very similar to what had been used in the past, maybe 100 years ago, maybe also including in the Bolshevik Revolution. And this was a commonly known tactic to bring out, you know, the good guys, the disgruntled military, you know, brass, the generals out there, and they were going to do this and this, trust the plan, don't worry, everybody stay home. They would do that long enough for the regime to do what they wanted to do, and then it would disappear, and everybody realized after that they got, you know, basically duped. And this is what a lot of people told us on one of our debate shows. But maybe it's not the case. At least that's not what Janine is picking up.
Cuomo would not be stepping down. They would have much more power, be much more arrogant. If you know we've got everything covered, everything we want, we can rig, and even if you catch us, it's going to go to our judge, our guy, who's going to oversee the case and throw it out. He won't even take the case. If he does, he'll rule in our favor. You peasants can't do anything to stop us.
Yeah,
that's how that goes, and that's not what we're seeing.
And the other thing too, and I mentioned this in this episode with Janine, if this thing was a psyop, they wouldn't have gone after such the big guys and the big pedos and all of that. Like
that was so off limits. You can't even imagine.
Always off limits. And then when they did, I'm like, oh no, there's something to it. I always fell back to that. And then also the fact that this guy on the screen is still alive. If this was all a fuck up, you'd be sure this guy and his family,
especially he's out of office now, it'd be easy for him.
Right, exactly. And that's not the case. So you wonder who's still really in charge. Well, Cliff High has some ideas on that. Go check out his last interview with Greg Hunter. He'll give you maybe a few nightmares if you're not ready and you're just now waking up to all of this information. You might want to take that in smaller bites. Cliff has a way to put that out there. Let's talk about that, Joe. In some of his predictions here, he's looking at Well, of course, this devolution plan, that's what he's talking about, and that we have maybe decades of military working on this already. And we're going to be facing here a devolution, meaning the contrary of evolution for a lot of our structures here in the next little while. So we are going to be suffering through a lot of breakages, and but at the same time, it's opportunity to build the things and the structures that we want for ourselves, for humanity, as opposed to having this energy extraction matrix kind of design tell us the box that we are going to be living in. So that's very exciting. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, end of the Mayan calendar, 2012 stuff. They said it was off 8 years. It's 2020. You know, sure is interesting for if that's what the case. 2020, boy, it sure seems like that kicked off. But you got to go, you know, and just at the very base level, the Mayans always said at the end of the cycle, thousands of years, end of the cycle, out with the old, in with the new. And it doesn't just, oh, let's just flip a switch and everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
The everything crumbles.
Yeah.
Crumbles, and then you have to make your new world, essentially. So we're going to have a lot smaller government, a lot fewer regulations. Like, it's going to be great. But all the things that these people do now, oh, that stopped working. Oh, that's not, those people aren't getting paid. They just quit. Oh, my gosh. There's going to be some problems. But I do believe it leads to, you know, greener pastures. And that's why we're out here saying, go get your generator, go get your food storage, get some water, whatever, if you need water. If you don't have a well on your property, like, get stuff prepared. You should have weapons, because you never know who's going to come to your house under a situation like this. You know, you never know if the roaming gangs start showing up in places because they realize, holy shit, we can do something right now.
Right.
You know, and everybody always takes the path to least resistance. They don't want to, no one's going to want to come and have a shootout with anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're the one they're having a shootout with, you know, you're trying to protect yourself. They're like, you know, there's a million other houses we can pick around here.
Yeah.
Let's leave and go somewhere else. You know?
Exactly. Say hello to my little friend.
That's right.
What was that movie again? With
Scarface.
Scarface. Yeah. That was a good one. Oh my God, that was a good classic one. Oh man. All right. Yeah, stay prepared, guys. And of course, make friends. Go see your neighbors. If you don't know them, you might realize that you have to be, or that you're going to be called to be a leader in what Cliff is calling these self-organizing collectives, the Make-A-Way Society, right? Or the Make-A-Way groups. I forget what he called them. The Make-A-Way.
Oh, is that what he's called?
Yeah, he was precise on that. I'm not talking about the breakaway civilization guys. I'm talking about the Make-A-Way people who are basically going to realize, holy shit, the municipal fuckers haven't been here for 2 months now to fix the road because they're all in shambles. We are going to make a way. We're going to get a few neighbors together. We'll get a backhoe and we'll fix that pothole, and then we'll move on, right? So there's going to be this breakthrough of this make a way, a group or collective of people here that make shit happen, because the government's just not going to be there for a while to handle all of this stuff. And he was talking about, this was in an older Webbot reports too, about this. I forget the term, but it was like it wasn't a Karen, but it was a woman inside a shopping mall. That had to do with something like that too, make a way, or like a brave person who was kind of like redesigning her world. Man, I have to ask him about that. Anyways, that's fascinating, because we're starting to see that now. We're starting to see people walk away from the government and say, you know, we're going to do it our own way. And now if you look at the demonstrations around the planet, a lot of people are going around and saying, yeah, you can say what you want from your ivory tower. Nobody's listening to you.
That's right.
Fascinating times, indeed. Okay, my last thing for tonight. Well, couple last things. So we talked about, this one was just funny. Okay, so Cliff says, the effing Taliban bitch slapping Western civilization with some
I saw that.
It was funny. And of course, Western society has no grounds bringing up freedom of speech when, of course, you know, Twitter, Facebook, all those guys do what they do to us. So, you know, maybe they should lay off. So I thought it was kind of ironic. Of course, I don't agree with their policy here on women, because that was the whole point here. They're saying that, we're committed to women's right within this particular little box. It's kind of like those, how do you call them? Free speech zones.
Free speech.
What you want, but go in the back of the building where nobody can hear you, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that was a little bit limiting and funny, but you know, sad at the same time. At any rate, okay. So this guy here, wow, Tobin admits there's no basis for prosecution and little evidence for even opening up an investigation or a criminal investigation. What's this all about? Well, what's your take on this? Why now, Joe?
Again, who's in charge? Who's really in charge?
Mm-hmm.
Who's really pulling the strings?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You don't want nothing else to say? No.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. That's all. All right. Is there any other items? There's quite a few more, Joe. We're already an hour into the show. Not sure how much time you have here tonight. Do you want to take questions from the audience? How do you want to maybe spend the next couple of minutes here? What do you think?
Whatever you want. That's fine.
I like what you like.
I like what you like.
Do you guys remember that show? That's from Coming to America 1, the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
Bark like a dog. Arf, arf. And then in part 2, she's still doing it.
I know. Did you see part 2 finally? Did you watch it?
I finally watched it. It was pretty good.
It was okay, actually.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. How do you beat that first one? But it was.
Yeah.
It was not bad.
It was cheesy, but I mean, you knew going in it was going to be cheesy. But anyways, it was funny. Yeah. All right, guys. If you have questions for Joe, put them in high caps. Could be anything. Theta, XRP, gold, silver. Check it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm still. People might want to know, are you still trying to grab some cheap, low orders? Yes, I am. Again, Black Swan event, war breaks out, whatever it is, something, I think is going to really cause this market to jump down, not jump, but fall down.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if it doesn't happen soon, maybe it's going to happen after the rally. But I don't want to miss the rally either, so that's why I always have a hodl bag. But I'm talking a big rally. Like new all-time highs coming.
I think we're going to have the huge rally, and then September, October, a way bigger retraction on Bitcoin, and of course everything else in crypto at that point than anybody's expecting. So
it could be that one. So that's where I'm like, I'm kind of watching the end of this month,
right,
to see. Honestly, the next few days are pretty important to me. And if we don't see a significant, and maybe it comes down to a level where I go, you know what, F it, I'm jumping back in.
Right.
Like with the money I have sitting there doing nothing at this point, waiting on some really low orders. But
yeah,
maybe it's the next one that's the October, whatever one that drops. But in the meantime, we might be able to make a couple bucks on rather than let it sit here and wait even longer. So.
Yeah, me too. I have a little bit on one of the Canadian exchanges I use. I'm like, I don't like leaving money there with all this crap going around the world. Like, I don't like leaving money that's not in my possession. And now it's there just in case I can get an order in. So I don't like being in that position. It's a very small portion for me there. But still, it's just annoying to see my money in harm's way. I don't like it. Right. So if you guys want to act sooner and have a product right in your hands, please check out this week's silver specials here from Andy Sheckman and Miles Franklin. These are the BeyondMystic special discounts for you guys. So they have the 1 ounce Silver Britannia at $375 over spot, and the 1 ounce Philharmonics at $395, and finally the Kangaroos also at $395. So check that out. That's beyondmystic.net/silver. And man, you guys have been booking him quite busily here for the last 2-3 weeks. They've been really busy. So a lot of you are taking advantages of these great specials. And the fact, like Cliff I was saying the other day, man, they're paying you right now to buy silver at these prices. When we see everything that's going on, and let's talk about that. That's $600 silver. That's in the same year where we had all of this. The troops coming back frantically, the banks having some issues, food shortages, riots, secrets reveals, all of this stuff, all of these temporal markers are hitting now. We still haven't seen that 600, but in those reports, they talked about 600 by Christmas. So we still have this window of time here. When is that going to break for you, Joe? Have you anything new from either Woo Woo Dude or Penny on that one?
On silver?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, she saw what she saw. He did too, but I don't think anyone has a real grasp of the time frame just yet.
Okay.
And I've never really had myself, so I don't know.
Okay. It's just interesting to me that when you look at all of these other temporal markers hitting now, you're like, well, chances are this last couple of ones are probably going to hit too. If everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible this is the year. At the end of the year, it just goes crazy because the Fed, shuts down or whatever. Oh my God,
if we get to that ceiling limit for the first time, like you were saying, it changes everything. And then ramifications around the world too. Because think about other countries who might go, like maybe France. Some people are thinking that guy might not last very long here, and then he might go before shit's breakouts here in North America. So if that's the case too, when you see these bigger countries losing control of their systems, that has a ripple effect. Like all of these credit default swaps, all of these derivatives on top of derivatives. Suddenly you're calling your bank to say, hey, can I get some money out? And you're like, oh, no, actually, did you see what just happened in Afghanistan? Yeah, that's happening now here in your local bank, sir. So who knows, guys?
Because when banks have to order money for what they typically see on a daily basis, they never order enough to deal with an influx. It's always on average, here's what we got, and you can't take out more than $5,000 unless you call it in advance.
And barely, Joe, even here, like the local banks for the last couple of years, like, oh no, now you have to order 3 days in advance, sir. Like, come on, you used to do this on a daily basis. Then it was like, oh, the next day, come the next day. And then it's like, no, we have to scrounge from 3 banks and come back on Thursday. Like, really? Come on. So there's something weird going on. Okay, somebody was asking you. Wait, go ahead.
I was just going to go down. I see some questions.
Okay.
So someone's asking about XRP. Again, if the market drops, it's going to drop too. I got numbers in my dreams on quite a few coins. I was looking at my dream book the other day just to kind of see when I would ask, is this crash still happening? I was still getting numbers, and they have not hit. But the interesting thing is, at least with XRP, when that little glitch happened not too long ago, it dropped to 27. It was just a glitch. No one had any orders that filled, including me, but mine would have because I had mine just above 27 cents. So it was a glitch. I don't think Spirit honestly would show me a glitch number and me go, oh, I missed it because it was a glitch, but Spirit showed me 27. I just don't think that's the case because there's other coins I got numbers on, and even with the glitch, they never hit that level. So I put myself in the situation of the elite. They could easily run it back up one more time, just like they have been. And then, breaking news, something major happened. The whole market drops, stock market drops, it crashes. My orders fill. Next few days or whatever, it turns right back around. Something else happens, and they skyrocket again. These guys are great at moving the market, especially when you don't expect it. We're back we're rallying now. Look at that big green candle. That's it. We hit the bottom. With the bottom's hit, it's like
I wasn't tracking.
I'm not so sure.
I wasn't tracking this in the last couple of weeks, but at some point, Bix was on my show, maybe last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, and he said, JC, this is the biggest seller of XRP were the guys on the top of XRP when it was hitting 80 and 90 cents. I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't tracking that at that level. Does that make sense? And if so, why were they selling at 80? And I suggested to Bix during the live episode, are they selling because it's one of those pump and dumps? They already made their money. They're going to wait for it to go back to 22.
Right. At any time, if they're selling, that's exactly what's going to happen. But the thing is, sometimes the price will go higher than even what some of these guys think or what they think they know. Because all of a sudden they created a FOMO event. Where, like XRP hit like $1.30 something, I think was the high just recently. And now it's down to what, 107?
Yeah.
It's 30% almost drop from the high. So
120.
They probably sold it 70, 80, 90, whatever. And it just, FOMO kicked in, other people are buying it all the way up. But if I'm them, now they need 80 whatever cents to get back even with what they just did. So if I'm them, I don't get even. I don't try to buy my shit back what I just sold it for. I wait for blood on the streets. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So big crash, and he's not going to care. Whoever's not going to care if it's 80 cents, 90 cents, and then watch it go to 130 going, oh shit, we could have made even more when they know, 22 cents is our next target again or whatever. I don't know if it's going that low. I never got numbers that low again, but I did get a 27.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I'll make my orders a little higher because I don't want to miss it, be too greedy or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, someone else had asked, what's your thoughts on the McAfee video today?
Okay, hold on a second.
I haven't seen it. So have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I saw the question and somebody else emailed me that too. So I was thinking about putting into my show tomorrow night with Janine. So I haven't seen it either. I want to bring this one up too. Goral 1417. What about Trump and the deal with so-and-so leaving Earth? And so, Joe, if you missed that, what Cliff said was that, and I don't even want to say the name here on the channel. Yeah. But essentially, what Cliff said was that was the big prize. It wasn't to be president. It was to have this particular entity removed from the planet. And that's why Mr. T had said yes to the White Hats to come play this role, for which he should win a lot of Oscars, as Cliff High was saying here, for the tremendous work he's done already. But Goral, to answer your question, I'll be asking Cliff that. I actually sent him an email about that saying, hey, can we include that in our next show? So it's just a matter of grabbing a tiger by the balls here, so to speak, while he's studying his balls to get him back on the show here. But yeah, we'll get into that, and just a few more things I wanted to tack into that show as well. So we'll get to that. Now, the McAfee thing is interesting too. Okay, let me bring this one back up. So in this same episode here with Janine, this was the Monday episode, we talked about why we still had this delay of all of these dominoes supposedly coming off of this 31 terabytes. And she said, okay, she started pulling out, okay, somebody's involved in slowing it down for some reason. And it's strategic and for our highest good. So it wasn't a delay by the bad guys. It was actually the good guys slowing it down for a reason. And I think they're waiting, if I recall what she was saying, a few more pieces of the chessboard to get in place so that they can have the maximum effect, basically, is what they were trying to do.
Well, Penny Kelly she said, oh, I was watching JC's video with her.
Okay.
And she goes, and while she goes, oh, I'm going to pull cards. So I'd pause it and I'd pull cards too.
Right.
And she goes, there were some times where I got the exact card that she pulled. And I go, how many cards are in the deck? She goes, 70. I think she said 72.
Yeah.
And I go, so you got the exact card? She goes, yeah. She goes, and then other times, like it was, King of Swords, I got the 9 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, it was scary accurate when I was pulling cards at the same time she was for the same questions to see what
would happen.
What's
crazy too on that point, and let me bring up folks, just so you know too, Penny's coming back this Friday here, so we're going to do basically an update on the show that Joe just did, and her also looking forward to Look-See. So that's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on this Friday night. Joe, if you want to join us for that, you're more than welcome. But what Penny was saying too, or what Janine was saying too, in the context of the cards, like you're saying now, how really uncanny it is. Every time we do the Beyond Crypto Woo reports, when we look at updates from these past coins and the past readings, I mean, she's live. She's scrolling. I mean, she only has the one deck. If I were at a carnival, I'd say, okay, is there another card? Is somebody's slipping cards underneath their shit? No, it's Janine. Come on, man. So XRP, boom, moving out of troubled water. Boom, abundance. Boom, like fortune. Like every time. I mean, what are the odds of that? Like, dude, you're like, okay, there has to be something there. So it's funny too, what you just said about other psychics doing that, because we get that all the time where people are live on our show and they say, yeah, I just pulled the same card. So this woo is very thick.
It is.
And we're all in the soup together, and we're all contributing to the woo. That's what I love about doing these live streams. Wow.
Yeah. So someone asked, how would you get New Mexico treasure off BLM land, meaning Bureau of Land Management? Wouldn't they confiscate most of it if found? Well, our main site is on private property.
Yeah.
There are some sites that are not, and on those, I have thoughts that I'm not willing to share. So,
hey, speaking of treasure, did you finally interview that guy with that lawsuit, that thing? Did you do that show already or no?
I recorded it.
Okay.
But the whole time we were talking, it's 3 hours long.
Wow.
I just kept getting like feelings that don't put this online.
Not yet.
Don't put it online.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to see it for a couple of days, and every time I tune in myself, it's like, even if you edit certain things, like no, this does not need to be public at all right now. Just leave it alone.
Okay.
So I haven't told them yet, but just in case I got like a dream or something that goes, no, it's okay.
Well, at the very least, you have this all on record, and it could be used later. It'll be useful at some point, and maybe not for the general public at this point. I get it, and just follow your intuition. Wow, that's great. Okay, something else.
So what else do we have?
You mentioned BLM, some other ideas. Man, you cued me on something.
Yeah, he just said, how would you get the New Mexico treasure off BLM land? Wouldn't they confiscate most of it if found? And I said, well, the main site's on private property. Some other sites are not.
Yeah.
And not willing to discuss what I would do. Or
No. We don't want to get into that. But that reminded me, even the one that's on private land right now, if some of the remote viewers and some of the psychics are right to what's in there, never mind the Bureau of Land Management, we might get the papacy or the Spaniards. Like there's a lot of people who might be interested in repatriating some of those.
Absolutely.
In some cases, very, very important artifacts. But yeah, that's for another show. Oh yeah, Joe. Somebody wrote to me the other day and said Joe's about to tell the story about the thing that happened, spiritual story on the mountain that he never wants to say, and he's gonna say it. I'm like, okay, great. I know what it is, of course, but Joe's never said it on a live show. So what was that guy talking about or girl talking about? Do you know?
There's one person on my Patreon, I think, that I talked to about it.
Okay.
And they reached out. I wasn't about to say it though. Don't plan on talking about it yet.
Okay, it's funny because
I'm not sure why I said that way, but
maybe I read this wrong. Dude, I have a gazillion emails, but I thought the guy or the girl, whoever it is,
because he said to me, "Does JC know about that?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, you left right after it happened, actually. You know, you left and then it happened.
Yeah, but it was the
like,
same.
Of course, day. I was like, I was like, I told him, like, he knows.
Or maybe he thought I didn't know, and he was telling me, "Hey, JC, if you don't know the story, Joe's about to pull it." But
could be.
Even that.
And then maybe he emailed me after he already emailed you. Hey, does he know? And I'm like, yeah, he knows. maybe it's too late. You know, who knows?
So whoever you were, man, yes, I did know, and thank you for letting me know, because I thought, oh, that's cool. Joe's ready to share that one, but no, Joe's not ready to share that one. And I know, like, here's the thing: that whole weekend or that whole 2 weeks was just
nuts.
There's so many things there that happened to Joe, to myself, to Sarah, to Dave. We were just like, okay, at a loss for words, as I am now. Like, it was just so spiritually impactful for all of us, and a lot of that we just haven't shared yet. We've shared like a little bit with some of our psychic friends and stuff like that, but not on the main channel yet, or like even on the we used to do this series called Three Dudes in the Desert, I think, for a while. I think we kind of alluded a few times to that there too, but yeah, it's called the Land of Enchantment for a reason, guys, and we're all being tuned into that. Now, Joe, do you think you're going to get there anytime this year, or this is not in our forecast at all?
Right now, my whole body's like, not a chance in hell this year. And I'm even thinking, because sometimes we'll go in like winter, which is still end of this year, or maybe even January, February.
Yeah, January, March.
And I'm like, I don't even think that's happening. Like, I feel like maybe it could be in the springtime of next year. And actually, that's what Penny had gotten. Whatever's about to happen over the next few months, it's pretty major. It's pretty, everyone's kind of be like, we're all going to be kind of shaken to our core about like, whoa, wait a minute. I can't pretend to go to work every day and like nothing's happening. Shit's happening and it's starting to affect me,
Yeah.
But she's like, it's like we get around that March, April time frame and we kind of peek our heads out and go, oh, okay, I can breathe again, and it's actually not so bad, and that kind of a thing. So I'm thinking maybe we'll get lucky and be able to. So Dave, we need to get you on after the show. I gotta share something with you and JC. That's incredible.
Woohoo! Hey Dave, you want to come on? You want to come in now just to say hi to folks? Let me send you the link.
Yeah, so go for it.
Then we'll continue on this theme.
So someone had asked also. Black Fly purchase that flying vehicle thing. Yeah. And so they said they did the recent Oshkosh show, which is the biggest like plane show, whatever, that they do every year, and vendors go there. So my friends were down there with their trike aircraft, and they were talking to some of the people at the Black Fly. They watched it, fly. They took some video for me and stuff. And she talked to one of the engineers for a while, like over an hour. But they said this fall they're looking to possibly get the sales going. But she did say to me, and I hadn't found this anywhere online, but my friend told me because she talked to one of them, that they might do an auction for the first, I think, 30 that they'll have ready in the fall, and just to see what are people willing to pay for them, and just go from there, rather than say, here's what we wanted to sell them for.
Right.
But that wasn't final either. So they may just say, no, let's just sell them. But in either case, if it's a bidding thing, my sorry ass is bidding. I'm going to have one of those sons of bitches. Regardless, man. I'm going to have one. I don't care what it takes. It's like cool. Fall time frame. Are you guys sure about that? What the hell's gonna be happening in the fall, man?
Yeah.
So, and then I have to go across the damn country with a trailer to get it. They're in freaking California. So I'm like, God, but
it is pretty cool though, man.
I have to have one. That's the bottom line. I have to have one of these damn things, and I just don't want to wait.
I'd love to have that over the property here too.
Now they can fly for about a half hour, 25 minutes.
That's long.
That's like my drone now. That's common for drones, even though that's a life-size version.
Yeah.
But just think, when we would drone out in New Mexico, how fast I would have that small drone, and it's not going as fast as that one flies. I have it like down to 20 to 30 mile an hour.
Right.
And I'm going up these mountains in like, 2 minutes, I'm at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
From where we are, like nothing. So it's like, you could do the same thing in that. You got 25, 30 minutes to fly. I could be up a mountain 2 minutes, down the mountain basically in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I got plenty of battery to get to some of these places that I want to get to,
Yeah, exactly.
And, see some of the stuff like that.
I just love the flight envelope. Like everything it does, it's just so cool and graceful. I mean, it's really cool.
It is.
What do you need? What do you need in Florida to fly this? What type of license?
You don't need any licensing whatsoever because it's classified ultralight.
Oh, okay.
So they just will have you come in to California. They train you. It's a 2-day training thing, but it's like they put you in they even had them at Oshkosh, these virtual reality deals with a seat. And then when you first take off, the whole seat and all goes up. It's like they really got a good system to teach you on. But that's basically the flight simulator. So it's really easy. I mean, I know how drone flies. So most of it's just like basic controls. It goes up, goes down, like you let go, it stops, it freezes itself. Yeah. Like you can't, like a helicopter, you do that, you're done, you're crashing.
Yeah.
This thing will just sit there and then hover and stay. The wind blows at it. It'll like, no, I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
30 mile an hour wind. Sorry, no, I'm just gonna sit here.
I'd love to go from my house to the Tim Hortons to get a coffee and see what people are like. What the hell is that? It's like,
that would be a hell of a. And I plan on doing some stuff because there's this Mexican joint that me and Frank always eat at. And I've seen a helicopter. I haven't seen it in a long time, but a little 2-seater. What is the common one? The R-22.
The Robertson.
Yeah, R-22.
Yeah.
Would land, and this guy would get out. I don't know if it was his girlfriend or a student or whatever. Yeah. So there's plenty of place to land this, and I'm like, I'd go right under that big oak tree, keep it in the shade, get out, go eat lunch with my buddy, and then come back. And I'd already looked on a map, and I go, okay, it would be exactly 20 miles. And they're saying this thing, 25 minutes, technically about 25 miles, they said. So because you're flying about 60, 65 mile an hour.
Right.
They said that thing can fly way faster than 65, but it would take it out of ultralight status if they did. And they don't want to do that.
Right.
So, and I don't blame them. That's fine. I'm traveling at 65 in a straight line. There's no stops. Like, I'm okay with that, man.
For sure.
Yeah. I certainly don't want to be going up a mountain hauling ass.
Yeah.
For me, I'll just take it kind of, take it easy. But I think what I heard them say too was, as part of your training, they're going to sit you in it, and they'll remote control fly it while you're in it, just to get a feel for how that craft operates. And then, as part of your training, but then they're going to finally let you fly it. So that tells me it can be controlled remotely. Yeah. So I thought, man, if I only had one of these things, and I'm up the mountain, and I could send it back down, just go home mode, it'll go right back where it was.
Yeah.
And then one of you guys get in it and fly it yourself, or
no, I'm gonna have my own. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna have our own for sure.
Yeah. You must. We
must. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Dave, he's in the live chat now. Let me bring him up. But first, guys, you can find him at Dave here, the Empire Builder 11 on Twitter. Let's bring him up to the channel here, Mr. Dave Bronin. How's it going, man?
Hey, it is great. It's good to see you guys. And yes, black fly, we all have to have one.
Yeah,
that would be so great. Cool. Us moseying around the mountain like in formation, a V formation.
Oh, so how's it going, Dave? Are you wearing a Hawaiian shirt? What the hell is that, man?
I am in a Hawaiian shirt state of mind, yeah.
Oh,
I thought you were doing the Obama 60-year-old party thingy.
Oh, God. Please, no.
Do a little dance.
But I'm maskless, so at least I
right.
Yeah.
So say hello, friends, to our friend Dave Broden here. He is one of our treasure hunter extraordinaires. He's been on our show before on the Three Dudes in the Desert, and also talking about investments and retirement plans. So maybe go check that out. They're probably somewhere still in the ether. I know those videos have been deleted, but Dave will be back at some point. But he's just busy right now. Collecting cars and having an amazing time here at his new compound. Let's talk about that a little bit, Dave. What's going on with you?
Yeah, it's for the folks that haven't heard about this before. I retired from 22 and a half years at Cisco Systems back last October. And and I got another house up north that right now I'm avoiding all the smoke because there are wildfires up in Northern California in and around Shasta County where my other place is. And so all my cars are all smoked, but not because they smoke themselves. It's because of the environment. But I'm just kind of enjoying life and making new friends and just just doing whatever I feel like doing. So I've been spending way too much time on Twitter lately. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, me and you both.
Yeah, it's just crazy what's going on. So it's
absolutely,
this is a real train wreck that we've seen happen over in Afghanistan in the last 7 months. So anyway, so that's what's kind of what's going on. And who knows? My brain is still. I want to get back into doing something on a bigger scale. In addition to our treasure hunting, I want to do something that's kind of still using the skills that I used at Cisco.
Yeah. So you're coming back to the market at some point here.
At some point, yeah. Stay tuned. Yeah. Watch this space.
Very good.
Yeah, it was Dave that one of the psychic people, Desiree, I think, had told me, "Oh, on your next trip, you're gonna find something. It's not like valuable. It's like they're just saying trinket." And I'm like a tool or something, an old Spanish tool. She's like, no, they're just saying trinket. I don't know what it is. It's just trinket. She goes, "Oh, tell me about the eagle. What's with the eagle?" I go, I don't know anything about an eagle. So we're digging at this one site, our main site, and Dave's like, we're kind of cleaning out the path where we walk to dig deeper, because you got to clean out the path too, or else it gets too tall and then you can't get out. Right. So that's what we hate doing it, because it wastes time. It's like, well, we're not gaining anything doing this, but we're like, all right, we got to do it. Let's just focus on that for a bit. So Dave's like, "Hey, I think I found another little 7 rock," and he was just about to toss it. And I'm like, "Oh, let me see that. Let's throw it up here." And he throws it up to me, and I go, "Oh my God, dude, this is an eagle head carved rock. Yeah, this is an eagle." And it was like sparkly. It was like different material than all the other rocks. And then when I got it home and I cleaned it off, it had like this little. It looked like 2 initials, really tiny initials were carved into it. And I'm like, whoa. So that was Dave. Dave found that. If he wasn't down there and did that, that would never have been a story.
Yeah.
And I would never took it home either, because I got that son of a gun. That's great. That was awesome.
That was cool.
So Dave, are you getting the retirement itches, or you're still having way too much fun with all your beetles? What's going on?
Yeah, so I love the comments Cliff is doing, because he's making comments on Cisco owning the internet and everything, and it was great being there. It was a great experience for what I did. I was mostly teaching. I was doing technical work too, but as far as the retirement itches, I'm guessing what he means, and that is wanting to get out of retirement maybe and go back. Just the 7-year itch in the marriage world. Maybe there's a similar thing in the retirement world.
Okay. Do you feel that at all, Dave, or you're still having too much fun with your cars? And did you notice that you have a video with 18,000 views? How'd that happen? You only have 98 subscribers.
Look. No freaking way. Wait. Really? I haven't even looked at
18,000 views.
That's great. Well, whatever. Yeah. So
wow.
I haven't done it. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's so.
This is one of your first videos. I remember you and I shooting the shit on this.
That's right.
I remember a long time ago when I was fairly new at doing videos.
Yeah.
A neighbor of mine at my first house, he showed me this metal plate. He's like, "Oh, I shot it with an AK-47, So I was like, I did a little quick video on it, like, metal plate versus AK-47. It wasn't like a real heavy duty metal plate, but I just thought it'd be cool to share that with people. And that thing got like 80,000 views. And this is back when I was like nobody, just doing videos on who knows what. It's funny. You just never know when you'll have one like that, where just people start flooding in on it.
I think sometimes I should do a cute puppy video just to see if I can reach 1 million views. If YouTube would even let me on this particular channel hit those kind of numbers. I had a Bruce Sees All last week or 2 weeks ago, and he had a video going at a few 100,000, and suddenly it was at 12,000. And there's like, dude, I was taking screenshots. I was so happy my video had a few 100,000 videos, and now he's back down to 2,000. What just happened? So they seem to be messing with the numbers, at least with some of our YouTubers here. All right.
I'm guessing there's a search term that caused that video to get so many hits. So I'm glad you found that.
Which one? Oh, okay.
No wrench.
No wrench. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe a lot of people were stuck in that same situation.
Yeah, seriously, they just searched for it and you came up.
Yeah, but I was looking for the one you did for that show you did with your son maybe a month or two ago. Is that not posted public?
I didn't post it there. I posted it on Facebook.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well.
So, because I haven't been actively doing anything with that channel. There's something I was exploring. There's a process of getting to where you want to be in life is doing a series of tests.
Right.
And so I realized that, and I'm appreciating the work that you and Joe do and Cliff as well, it's so much work to put together a good video, especially if you have to do any editing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of editing involved in doing videos like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was watching that, and from my perspective, seeing, oh my God, he must have spent hours. This is why I do everything live. I record and then it's done. I don't go back to it. Hopefully, I have enough interaction here on the show with the techniques I use to make it entertaining for the folks, because I just couldn't do. I wouldn't be able to produce 2-3 videos a day if I had to do post editing stuff. It would just be too crazy.
Yeah, you and Joe do it the right way.
yeah, thank you. So Joe, any last thoughts before we go?
One more thing.
Either on the altar reports, because we kind of skipped on a few things, or also maybe some of the Penny Kelly stuff from the last video that you think maybe this audience needs to hear, just to kind of have a better bearing on where all of this is going here in the next couple of weeks.
She thinks, again, after all this dust settles, we got a lot to look forward to. So don't, it's not just doom and gloom. We're going to get somewhere, And then someone had asked a minute ago about XRP, and they said, "Oh, I'm in Washington State or somewhere, and I can't get it. They won't let me get XRP." If you use the Exodus wallet, you might be able to do a swap for some other crypto for that. If it still somehow knows you're there and won't let you do it, then get a VPN. We usually use NordVPN, and you can go from pretend you're in Germany or Spain or something, and then try it, and then open the wallet up. Don't open the wallet first. Make sure you're connected first.
Right.
And see if that'll do it, because I think that might do the trick. But you have to have some crypto on the Exodus wallet to do the exchange. You can't just use cash.
Right.
So,
okay.
So that helps them.
Okay. And Cliff, if you're hearing me, if you're still in the chat, somebody here was also asking about the grand prize for Mr. T. And it relates to the email I sent you about doing an episode on that, because I think that's going. Greg just skipped right over it. So I don't know if he didn't hear you, or he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to go there, Cliff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened in that interview.
I saw that.
But to me, I was like, whoa, step back a moment. What was that big prize?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, Cliff, if you have time, I know you're busy, and I was telling the folks here earlier, it's like grabbing a tiger by the balls when he's sunning his balls. Anyways, let me know by email. We'll do a quick show on that, because I think a few people would like to know, because it's all about what we can create after this entity has left. I think that's really the what Joe was just alluding here too. It's exciting. Yes, we have some turmoil here, and you were saying in your next level woo that we might have these 3 months of walking through the valley here of desperation, and then we're going to start breathing again, maybe in January to March, which is also what Penny Kelly was saying. But then you have these years of coming together to building this new place here that we call home. So very exciting for everyone. Okay, William, great show, great interview. Okay, so and Joe, one last thing. Was there anything else from Penny Kelly's look-see also you want to share with this audience?
No, that was about it.
We're about there. Okay, and how about you, Dave? Anything you want to share with the audience, maybe in terms of keeping their frequency high, not being in the fear factor, not being influenced by people around them? I know I'm getting muffled. We have a weird connection here tonight for some reason. Thank you, AG. So go ahead, Dad.
I completely concur there, JC. It's right now it's really hard not to be thinking and involved in the negative stuff. And as Penny Kelly and others talk about, we create our future with what we hold in our mind, what are the images and the ideas we hold in our mind. So if we hold the vision of what's that brighter future, and Cliff does a good job, I think, about, as he's helping us navigate the woo, and all his videos lately are so excellent to help us think about how we want to strategize to navigate the woo in this upcoming challenging time. But there's something better on the other side. What's that world we want to build? Yeah. So, that's really the most I have to say right now. Okay, very good. And folks, if you haven't seen these last 3 videos, you can start with gelling woo and then woo d'etat. Very interesting take on that. I love the French etymology of that word also. So that was fascinating. And of course, the next level woo. And if you haven't seen it already, if you go to my BitChute channel as well, go check this particular video here. I won't read that on the screen, but you are probably being called right now for what's on the screen as well. If you're watching this show, you have a role to play here, and it's nonviolent. It's all about taking leadership and being stable and being a guiding light or a leader here for all of the normies who are about to wake up. So please do go check that show. And of course, check us here on Friday night. Coming back is Penny Kelly at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for the next Look-See episode. And Janine is also coming back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And we are going to be fielding a lot of your questions about
the world events going on around us right now. So there you go, folks. I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe here on our third backup channel. And this was the Wacky Woo. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. And thank you, Dave. Thank you, Joe. And we'll see you soon, everyone. Have a great night. Au revoir.